Okay. Let me just turn the volume down for you guys. Okay. Alright then. Hopefully you should be able to hear me. Apologies for the slight delay. My co-commentator was not able to join me this evening, and I wasn't set up the stream, so just some technical issues there. But I've got it going, and we are ready for Australia. Here we go then. A warm welcome from me to you guys, and it is going to be Tier 2 console tonight around the Australian circuit in Melbourne, Albert Park. This circuit obviously been going since 1996 and in Australia, so it has been there. Hasn't been here for overly long compared to other circuits like Silverstone or Spa, but it certainly does have its historic moments. Most of people have already set their first few laps already since I've been setting up the stream, but I'll check out a certain driver who is on a lap right now. It seems to be the Aston Martin driver of Simba Rocks in the Aston Martin, heading through Sector 2. This is obviously turn 8 and turn 9, the third, I'll call it the second DRS zone that you pick up on this lap. The final DRS zone is going to be the main straight. You immediately pick up the third DRS zone, heading down towards turn 13. Could see some overtaking opportunities later on during the race through here. Got a little bit of traffic in his way, so make sure he moves out the way. Slightly wide, but it just about holds in on the not getting invalidated there. That was a lucky escape from the Aston Martin. You'll be able to continue this lap, flying down towards the checkered flag line. And across the line, it's 9th place for the time being. His first lap on the leaderboards. And the only Aston Martin in the lobby so far. Christian invalidated, so we'll probably just have to wait until Jensen gets around on his outlap, or Nico. We'll have to see which one is first. We'll watch the McLaren driver as he is closest to the line. So this is a, just for some information, this is a 5.278 kilometre semi-street circuit, which winds around Albert Park. It features a blend of fast chicanes and sweeping bends, so you, I would say this is more of like a higher speed circuit. You know, there's a lot of high speed sections like turn 9 and 10. You've got to have a lot of downforce through there, but it's also extremely quick. You've got to be careful on the exit, however, of turn 10, to not end up in the gravel. But they give you a nice big curb on the exit of turn 10, so you can have a little bit more room for error. I think Jensen is still on an outlap here. I think they're going to go around again, because that was a bit of a lock-up down towards turn 3. But let's see anyway, down through turns 6 and 7. Now around the long right-hander of 8. And then 9, and then into the long sweeping left of 10, the DRS zone. Apparently on this track map, this is turn 10, but on the other Formula 1 track map, this is turn 9, so I'm going to follow the Formula 1 track map. Still says Jensen's on an outlap here. Let's see what he can do though. McLaren heading through the final 2 turns, turns 13 and 14. Picking up the DRS as soon as you exit the corner. Still putting the power down before you even pick up the DRS there, really. Jensen to 10th place for the time being. Not an overly competitive lap time, but it will set him up for a good banker lap. So let's see what he can do. Nico on a lap as well. DRS wing wide open, but it's an invalidated lap time. You can see his track map is red, so he's gone wrong somewhere in sector 1 or 2. And we'll have to attempt another lap. Is this a lap coming out from the Alpine team? Yes, it is. Gnome 93 heading through this little sweep-in straight before you fling it into turn 6, and being careful not to go wide at turn 7, that corner. If you go in a bit too aggressively, a bit too quickly, it can compromise the rest of your lap because you'll end up going wide and invalidate. So it is one of those make or break corners, and especially when it leads up, you know, that set of corners is the final set of corners that you lift or slightly brake before you hit this turn 9 and 10 section. So you've got to make sure that you get that exit spot on. The Alpine, though, has already flown past turns 9 and 10, is heading through turns 12. You go through here about 5th or 6th gear usually, and then into turns 13 and 14. Two quite similarly close corners if you compare them together. Both sort of simple 90-degree turns. It's the sort of turns you expect to see on a street circuit. And it is 3rd place for the Alpine driver so far. His teammate in 7th place, trailing a little bit further behind. We've got 2 drivers towards the bottom, the Mercedes of Christian and the V-Carb of Ward's, not yet to set a lap time. So we'll have to see what they can do. They've got 8 minutes left, so they've got plenty of time to set 2 or 3 laps before the session runs out. But they'll certainly want to have one down before they get to their final attempt. So the just to let you know as well, when we get to the race, the pole run towards turn 1 braking point is 271 meters. So it's kind of short, I would say. It's shorter, especially as turn 1 isn't really one of those overtaking opportunities kind of turns. So it's going to be difficult for all the drivers to flood through there. You've seen it in the past. I mean, 2023 Australia, in real life, we had that, you know, the red flag issues, and we had the massive crashes at the start of the restarts. So it can cause chaos, and I wonder, could there be a little bit of bumping and bashing through turns 1 and turn 2 during the race later on? So as you know, 4 DRS zones around this circuit, but only 2 DRS detection zones, as the first 2 are linked and then the second 2 are linked up at the top of the track and at the bottom of the track. And we've got a spun Ferrari of Flame or Schumacher at turn 6 and 7. I don't know, it looks like it was Flame, possibly on a flying lap here, because that is some pretty big wing damage. Possibly it's maybe turned in a bit too early here, going through turn 6, and is, you know, tried to cut that corner and go on the grass as much as possible, and may have overdone the steering input too early, which is possibly why that right front wing is pretty much shattered into pieces. So he is going to need to sit in the pit lane and change that. Luckily, he's got plenty of time to do so and should have another lap to reattempt. So the main straight is 800 meters on this circuit. The straight between turns 2 and 3, so the one just after the main straight, is 600 meters, and the fast run from turns 9 to 8 is 950 meters, while that back straight after turn 9 and 10 is 900 meters. So yeah, drivers would have opted for more of a higher downforce setup, as you have very medium to high speed corners through this circuit. Alright, then who have we got on track? Timberbox once again on another lap. He's the only one to be setting lap right now who isn't invalidated, so we'll just check out and see what he's doing. I think Jensen's also just begun a lap as well, so these two we saw earlier on trying to improve from their 1 minute 15 4.68 and 4.72s. Very, very close on the timing board, but it's not really the times that they want to see next to their names, so they're going to be hoping that they can get towards the lower 115s this lap round. Is there going to be an improvement from the Aston Martin? Heading through the final sector, picking up the DRS for the second to last time. Second to last time? I think that's correct. But it's actually slowed down on this lap, so I think they're going for another lap round here. I think they've backed out and they're going for another attempt It's apparently a purple sector in Sector 2 for Jensen. The track map can be incorrect sometimes, as there is some game bugs in the spectator menu, but you never know, could be a proper purple sector. Let's see what he can do through the Sector 3 then. Has he opted maybe for a lower downforce setup, going for more straight line speed? Has he got a lot of straight line speed through that second sector? And will lose out in this third sector. Let's see, 6th place for the time being, and almost 4.5 tenths quicker than his previous lap time. 6th position he goes, splitting the Mercedes duo, by the way. A 1:15.033, while Christian's got a 1:15.025. These three in 5th to 7th place, separated by half a tenth. Who else have we got? A lot of people sitting in the pit lane right now. They'll be waiting for the final few minutes of the clock to tick down. Once it gets to about 3 minutes, we'll 2.5, we'll see the drivers head out of their pit boxes and going out for their final attempts in either Q1 or if it's, I don't know if it's short quali. Either way around, you'll still want to be getting a very fast lap time, a 1:14 preferably. We've only got 4 drivers, however, right now in the 1:14s, but they're still in the high 1:14s. So it's, you know, it's not like anyone's gapped anyone in this pack really. It's all very extremely close. I mean, from 1st to 9th, we're separated by just over 3 tenths, 3.5 tenths ish. So it is a very, very close grid so far. Jensen has retired in 6th position. Seems to have, seems to think he's finished his job here in this quali session so far. It should be short quali because we've only got 16 drivers, so. Here we go then. Langman setting, going out for his flying lap. Heading into the one of the heaviest braking zones on this circuit, turn 3, the right-hander, and then you fling it back into the left-hander of turn 4. That corner can be very difficult because if you end up going wide, you're over that sausage curb, and you can see he's already backed out there, and I think that was because I think he was having a bit of understeer through turn 4. The car understeered, or either slightly oversteered as well at the same time, but he seemed to have struggled to get the power down through turn 4, and we'll go around for another lap. I think a lot of drivers will probably be waiting for that final few seconds of the lap and go at the final few, the final few seconds, because track evolution could be a thing. You know, if you're the last one to do your lap, you'll have people ahead would have, you know, warmed up the circuit, put a bit of rubber down for you, so it could be helpful. Both Ferraris having to move out of the way of the Red Bull Visa car. Ward's heading into the second DRS of this lap. Very, very slight input on the brakes, but mainly lifting through turn 9, and very, very slippy out of turn 10. Will he back out of this lap? No, he's going to keep on pushing. You can see that battery is still draining into the braking zones of turn 11. The car's still trying to get the rear to veer out of control there, you can see. And we've got an Alpine! Oh my days! Alpine not looking in his rearview mirrors, and that has cost Wards a position higher than last place, and that is going to be 16th place reserved and done and dusted. We're not going to see anyone drop below Wards. He's going to be retired. That might be reported as well to the FIA, and that will not be good news for the Alpine team. Unfortunately, just weaving about too much, not looking in the rearview mirrors, and it can cost you and the driver on the flying lap. And yeah, Wards will not be too happy with that as the timer goes down to 0, which means everyone should be on a flying lap who hasn't retired. Everyone made it to the line safely, and you've got a lot of people mostly through that second sector going down the turns 8 and 9 corners. Vertigo, currently the quickest driver on the grid so far, in the Red Bull, a 1:14.810. He's got a 700 gap between himself and Yanil. And Vertigo sets an even quicker lap time, but only by about half a tenth. That still could be the difference between first and second place. Let's see what the driver in second can do. He can't do anything actually because he's invalidated this lap. He is finished in this quali session. The Haas will stick it in second place. Schumacher in third place so far in the Ferrari. He's got a bit of traffic ahead though. Could this dirty air affect his lap time? The cars are not ghosted, which means they will cause a little bit of disruption on the car's aerodynamics. And you can see he's sliding all over the place on the exit on the final turn. He's had to back out of the lap there. He knows he's not going to improve, and he looks like he's going to be giving the one of the cars behind him, I think possibly his teammate, yes, his teammate Flame, a bit of a slipstream, but unfortunately it's not going to be able to help out his teammates really move up any more positions, as Flame will have to finish down in 14th. And everyone has set their lap times, and it is Schumacher having to back out of his lap, unfortunately. I think that dirty air probably didn't really help him, and he was slightly compromised. But he was lucky to keep third position, so we're going to have a Red Bull, a Haas and a Ferrari in the top three. That is 2 Ferrari engines as well. Alright then, so there's not going to be a restart if anyone is wondering. We'll just be heading straight into the race. So I assume it was only short quali. We have 16 drivers on the grid tonight, so we won't be able to do a full one if that was going to be an option. But here we are then. It's going to be Vertigo on pole position. Congratulations to the Red Bull team. His teammate's down in 12th place right now, but you never know, could get a very, very nice start if he sets maybe on a softer compound of tyres. But so far, Red Bull on pole. Yanil in the Haas in second place, 1 300ths off, 1/10 and 300ths off the Red Bull car ahead, and Schumacher was only about 300ths behind the Haas in the front. So that's your top 3 done and dusted, and the rest of the grid all need to have a very, very nice start to get past the top 3. But turn 1 and turn 2 is an unpredictable set of corners on the at a race start around this circuit, and it's not the easiest place to stick an overtake, so you've got to be careful. Remember, all the heroics aren't at turn 1, it's throughout the whole race. So sometimes just playing the patient game at the start can be the best thing for you, and let the chaos unfold around you. Here we are, and everyone will be picking their tyres to start on, and their tyre strategies when they're going to box. Are they going to go for an undercut? Are they going to go for any overcuts? What is the tyre deg like on a certain compound? We'll have to wait and see. It should be a formation lap, but I'll be ready in case it isn't. Alright then. Welcome to Albert Park, and this is the Australian Grand Prix. Reminder, this is Tier 2 console, driving around a very sunny Australia this evening. 4 DRS zones are on this circuit in Melbourne. One was recently introduced, the third one in Sector 2. After that sector was reprofiled and removing the slower sort of hairpinned right-hander we had previously back a couple of years ago. So we're going to have 4 DRS zones to help with overtaking this circuit. When I've commentated this circuit, pretty much every time it's absolute chaos. So let's see if that will stay the same this evening. But yeah, with the amount of DRS zones, it's not necessarily difficult to overtake. It's quite an easy circuit as well once you get used to the high-speed corners of, you know, like turns 6 and 7, turns 9 and 10. That's where you're going to see a lot of tyre deg, a lot of strain on those front tyres. And yeah, not as many braking zones as some other street circuits, you know, like Singapore, which are just more like 90-degree bends and stuff. So it's quite different for a street circuit, you know, like Baku and Singapore. It's nice to have a bit of a different style of street. Just waiting for a few more players to load in. A reminder for anyone wondering, the next race after Australia this evening will be the Spanish Grand Prix on July the 28th to the August the 1st. So if anyone's interested what round 2 will be. So there you have it. So here we go then. Season 21 about to get underway for Tier 2 console. Australia is the first circuit on the calendar. Been quite a long wait. Usually this is over and done with a bit longer. I guess maybe they give everyone a bit of a timer, so so everyone's able to get ready. Because I've seen in previous racing leagues that people have readied up too early and no one's had time to set up. Here we go then for the Australian Grand Prix. We have 5 red lights and away we go. It's a very, very quick start. Will that catch any of the drivers off guard? Heading down towards turn 1. It looks like Vertigo has gotten the dream start he needed. And he started on pole and kept it in pole position after the first lap. We see a few position changes and jostles towards the back of the grid, but so far the top 6, 7 seems to be pretty much exactly the same as we've got a Chris getting past Jensen side by side with the McLaren car through turn 4, and you're going to have to really pretty much go back to single file once you get through turn 5 because it is a very, very high speed corner. We've got, I think, an Alpine rear wing in the side of the barrier there. And Chris has lost position to Nico as well on the opening lap. We've got Max out of the race in the Alpine. It looks like he's lost it heading through turns 6 and 7. Yes, he has, and we're already going to have, I believe, a safety car as the Alpine is already in the wall on lap 1, just as he headed into sector 2. His race is already done and dusted. Luckily for Alpine, they've still got one driver left in, but unfortunately, Max's race is already over. And I believe that's a virtual safety car or safety car already. Let's see if a yellow dot comes out of the pit lane. But so far, the top 6 seem to have a pretty nice, steady start. No overtakes so far. But towards the back, it was a little bit more jostling, a bit more chaotic. A few bits of carbon fibre flinging all over the place through like turn 5 and 6. 4, 5 and 6. But yeah, Vertigo getting pretty much the dream start he needed here. And it's not actually going to be a safety car. It's just going to be a virtual safety car, as we've got no proper safety car on the circuit. VSC on the sign there. We'll get a green flag on the track map to tell us when everyone is going to go underway. The Ferrari almost got brake tested to the back of the Haas there, or maybe not brake tested, but just didn't notice they were slowing down there. Could have caused a bit of damage. Or at their most, opting for the medium compounded tyres, and oh my days, Vertigo with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, but he was leading the race. It was green flags. He was leading the pack as they went up to green flag there. So I'm assuming that's probably a game bug that he's picked up, and unfortunately for the race leader, he's going to have to live with that drive-through penalty. And just to top it off, he's already been challenged by Schumacher and Janil, who've already overtaken him as he headed through turn 9 and turn 10. And that was a pretty nice move from Schumacher as well to squeeze it through as well. I thought only one car was going to get through there, but he made it through perfectly. We've got an Alpine of Noman and Christian side by side through turn 11, turn 12, apologies, and turn 13. Who's going to be later on the race to be the BWT car, but will the Mercedes try and get the better line and the better exit out of the final turn? Not really. It's going to be Noam into 3rd position as Vertigo pits immediately after the restart. And it looks like he's had a game bug there from that, because he was leading the pack. How is he speeding under the virtual safety car when he was, I don't know. Max said he disconnected and kissed the wall instantly, so he apologised there. That is the reason for the instant hit from the driver's perspective. Lucky ended to his race. But we are back to green flag racing on lap 3 of 29 at Albert Park. Really lovely camera shot views we're getting of Janil flying around the circuit. DRS will be finally activated now for our drivers, and everyone's still in a DRS train from 1st to 12th, so we should see some overtaking throughout the grids. Chris is getting pretty close to the back of Jensen. These guys were having a little bit of a jostle earlier on down in sector 3, and Chris got off a bit worse. Apologies, that was sector 1 actually. That was a different fight. we are, heading already on to lap 4. No overtaking so far from this side of the grid. No penalties either. As your positions gained after 3 laps of racing. 6 positions gained from Flame and from Wards as well. So even after an unfortunate ending to his quali session, the VCARB has been able to redeem himself back into the points, and it is going to be 6 positions gained, 10th place. Good job so far from the VCARB driver. Also challenging for the Williams as well in 9th place. The Williams moved to the middle of the circuit there, trying to get defensive, worried that he was going to be ambushed behind from the VCARB, but Wards did not move from that racing line, and has pretty much just slowed the Williams down even more through there. Keep piling that pressure, they're eventually going to have to go defensive, and you're going to put them into a worse situation than yourself. I guess that possibly that's what Wars is trying to do, trying to scare the Williams. Here we go then, Chris and Jensen, we saw this a few laps ago, we're seeing it again, and it's contact into the wall at turn 9. I don't think there was any damage for the Mercedes driver, but it was pretty aggressive defending from Jensen, who kind of moved over into the Mercedes path. But to be honest, going through that long left-hander and suddenly like trying to straighten up when you're side by side with someone is quite difficult through there. It's narrow and the wall is very, very close to the side of the circuit. It is literally road, wall. So you have to be very, very careful when you've got someone alongside you to give them enough room, because you can't see the wall when you're on the middle of the circuit. Not an easy place to overtake, but it is very, very impressive when done correctly. We're seeing some moves from Nico as well. He's having a great start to his race. Jensen is the first to pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and on lap 5:29. It looks like Vertigo is slowing down again, or is that Simba Rocks? Might be Simba Rocks here who's slowed down, and these guys are quite far away from the rest of the pack. I can only assume that a lot of drivers here will be possibly attempting that one-stop strategy, the medium to hard. It is very difficult though, so you really do know how to look after those tyres, because it's not an easy feat to do, especially when they've tried to, in the new F125 game, they've definitely made the cars, or not the cars, the tyres and the strategy more likely to be 2 stops for those who possibly struggle to look after their tyres. They still have a chance, because the 2-stop is a lot stronger than it was last game. Because last game it was just medium to hard and then or hard to medium one-stop strategies, but now you've got a bit more of an I can't pronounce things, apologies. I apologise for my bad pronunciations, but speaking this long is really, really difficult. But yeah, introducing the 2-stop is nice. It gives people a bit more of a different opportunity, different strategy options, heats things up a bit. So Yanil right now has got one of the biggest gaps in this DRS train to the driver behind, and he's not even using DRS here, so he could just be a lot quicker than the rest of the field right now to be pulling away through that sector 1. Maybe that is where he's seeing a lot more of that pace is through the slower speed corners possibly, but unfortunately he gained a 7/10 gap at those 2 DRS zones, you know, and Schumacher's right behind him already, 1/10 in 1/10, 800s behind, but he's not making a move just yet. He's, you know, they're working together. There's no point fighting. You're just going to lose time. If you're both on the medium tyres doing a similar strategy, you may as well just stay behind. You're getting the DRS, you're getting the ERS saving from the car behind, because you can put it on none when you're on the DRS zone. So all you're doing is really letting the driver ahead of you work up his tyres while you're sitting behind relaxing with the DRS. So it's there's really no point overtaking and fighting, because all you're doing is just inviting other drivers behind you to take advantage of your situation. Lap 7 of 29 already. We've got 2 drivers with 3-second time penalties. Wards with now 7 positions gained, and Vertigo, our race leader, who picked up pole position. And remember, we don't get a point for pole, so he's going to come home with nothing. And it is a very, very, very sad finish into the Red Bull drivers' evening. And it all now rests on his teammate Crowdin in 10th position right now. Typical looks to be on the verge of running out of DRS here, as well as crowded as well. Beginning to see a bit of a split in the DRS train. However, the top 7 now, actually the Williams has caught back up a bit now. He was just beginning to fall behind a bit, but it looks like he's picked up the pace. But the top 8 seem to be pretty firmly set into a DRS train. Now the question is, who is going to be the first to strike on that pit stop strategy? Who is going to be the first driver to say, I'm going to the pit lane, I'm doing a bit of an undercut here, possibly? Who will be the first to pit? Will it be multiple, or will it just be one? So I'm assuming the likes of Simba Rocks, who's possibly picked up damage here, which is why he's already stopped, will have to be doing a 2-stop here, as we're going to see an overtake for Schumacher for the lead of the race, heading in towards turns 9 and 10. There we are in our view now, and he is leading the race. Nice overtake. Decides that is the time to pounce. But yes, I'm assuming Simba Rocks will have to do a 2-stop strategy here, as he won't be able to make those hards go to the end if he is on hards. So new race leader is going to be Schumacher leading. Look at this though, most of the drivers here have got full bars of ERS, or you know, in that top 3/4 full. They manage the tyres and the ERS so well here. I mean, if you look at lower racing leagues, not lower, but racing leagues that are slightly smaller, they don't really have as much competitive, strict nature to them. You just see that they drain the ERS a lot more, and they overtake when they don't need to. But in these higher racing leagues, they really know how to preserve their ERS management and their tyres, and that's what they need to do if they want to make this one-stop strategy work. You can't be pushing on those tyres too aggressively. You don't want to be making any overtaking through these high-speed corners, just making them on the DRS straights. So apparently, like a tyre wear, this is out of 5 by the way, tyre wear is a 3 out of 5 usually. Moderate, surface is smooth, but graining can affect the front tyres. Also high-speed corners put a lot of grip on those, put a lot of strain on those front tyres as well as you lean into the high-speed bends. I don't know how much track evolution is going to be affecting the race here, but it is a 4 out of 5. It's quite high. Obviously, as this is a street circuit, you expect track evolution to be a big main factor. Streets don't see these Formula 1 cars burning their rubber on the streets, so you should expect track evolution to be quite high around street circuits. And yeah, overtaking opportunity is very high around here with the many DRS zones that you've got. If anyone's got any thoughts, opinions, strategy ideas, please do let me know. Start a bit of a discussion. But so far, I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. And if you are not part of the Discord, please make sure to ask for a link, or people will be happy enough to give you an invite to the Discord. Very, very large competitive racing league, WOR, and you can just see the professionalism from this top 6 so far, managing their tyres and their ERS well here. Lap 10 of 29 already, and we've just passed that 1/3 mark of the race, and most drivers will be getting to that higher end of the DEG. I think someone has just picked up a penalty, and it is going to be Jensen So both McLaren drivers with penalties, and Jensen's picked up a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane, and he is going to pit to those hard compounder tyres, while Langman also pits to the hard compounds, and that is, I assume, going to be an attempt at a one-stop strategy. 18 laps to complete. No, not 8. Yeah, 18 laps on those hards. Will be a tough ask, but it is possible. Let's go, Simba, let's go. He pitted very, very early on. I assume to wing damage, or any form of damage really, which is, but so he's going to have to pit again. However, I do think he could have a chance here, especially if there's a safety car. The safety car probability is quite high around this circuit. I think it's about 67%. It's it's decently high, as Ward's picked up a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. So if there is a safety car later on in the race, it would be very, very helpful. As a few more decided to pit this lap round. We've got Nico, typical. We saw Ward a second ago, Boberts, Simba pits once again onto the hard compounder tyres. There we go. He's going to have a lot of work cut out for himself if he wants to catch up against those points. 14 drivers remain out of the 16 that started the race. Vertigo was on pole position. As we see another change for the lead, it's going to be Janil once again taking the race, new race leader. Anyway, Vertigo got pole position earlier on, but unfortunately, after the virtual safety car restart, he was leading, and he picked up a 10 seconds, a drive-through for speeding up the virtual safety car, even though he was leading them off the green flag. He must have just left too early, or it's a game bug. But unfortunately, he's retired from the session after getting that drive-through. So you can see both of the front two runners decided to pit at the same time. As Max also retired as he disconnected a little bit. I guess he his console's been struggling with internet issues, and hit the inside wall of turn 6 and crashed on lap 1, which caused the virtual safety car in the first place. So 2 drivers out, and 14 still remain. I had 3 safety cars, and I think 1 virtual safety car in PC Tier 3. We've had 1 virtual safety car so far, so let's see if there's going to be a safety car. Still hope for Simba, yes. Still, there's always hope. So just to let you know, the pit stop time that lost is 19.3 seconds, including a 2.5 stop, so it can be a bit longer. As we see Schumacher overtake Janil on the fresh hard compounder tyres that they have. This lap will be their lap to just warm up the tyres and get them back to get them into their prime temperatures. As you can see, the rest of the grid has formed up nicely. No one's really undercut them. It's kind of just all end up in the same pack as it was previously. But yeah, pit stop time loss is at 19.3 seconds, and that is if you get a 2.5 second stop. So it is a very, very quick pit stop at pit lane compared to like some Imola and Silverstone, because you pretty much have the same line going to the pit lane as you do going into the final corner, so you're not really losing time on the final exit like you will with Spa, and you also kind of pretty much fly through most of the pit entry anyway. And then it's also quite a short pit lane as well. So quick pit stops. I shall show you the penalties. There you go. 10 seconds for Janil and Jensen for speeding in the pit lane. 6 seconds now for Jensen extra for the track limits in Pedin. as well as Boberts, and Simbra has a 3 second as well. So that's not very, very nice for the likes of Yanil, who is fighting for a win this evening. That 10 second is, unless it's a safety car, I think that 10 second is very much going to hurt the Haas driver. Schumacher setting a fastest lap time of 1:17.863. See that he's got some pace on those hard compound tyres. Track evolution as well. You can see the track is beginning to grip. You can grip a bit more around the circuit as more rubber's been thrown on, or more rubber's been cleared to the sides, and the track is just more heated. And I think you get the gist. So these guys should be quicker than the start of the race. Chris hasn't pitted. Oh, he has actually, apologies, but he pitted very, very early, so he's undercut. But yeah, 4 lap older tyres, so that's not going to be very nice. As Crowden hasn't pitted yet, he's still on 14 lap old hard compound tyres. And if he was to pit now, I mean, he would come out pretty much down in 12th place, really. He opted for the hard tyres first rather than the mediums. Now I wonder, does Schumacher want to be sitting behind a driver who's got much older tyres? Or does he want to get past and possibly try and use the Mercedes car to pull away from Yanil? Is he going to try and deploy a bit of his pace? Is he get past the Mercedes and hope that the Haas doesn't get past and then split away from the pack, or is he just going to use the Mercedes until the Mercedes car really begins to struggle? So wait and see. Noam gets past Jensen, who goes to the outside line and pretty much gives the position away quite easily, I would say. As Nico picks up his first 3-second time penalty of the evening in 5th place. Looking further up, we've got Chris in the gravel, Schumacher on the inside, and I'm glad I just about picked that up, because now Chris has been completely shafted there by the overtake the Ferrari attempted there. And he's pitting again on 7 lap old hards. He's decided to pit. There's retirement. Chris is going to retire from the session. Very, very unlucky there. I don't think it was overly fair. From what I saw, it looked like he was getting shoved off the circuit, so it just might not have been a very fair move from the Ferrari there of Schumacher. But might have to see a replay from someone else's POV. Let me know what you thought of that. I know we only saw a little bit of the clip, but it did kind of look like he didn't have much room. He might have hit the outside curb and lost control and ended up in the gravel. Or it could just be hard racing. But a few more penalties have been handed out, notably Yanil, who's picked up their first 3-second penalty. I'm pretty sure someone else got a penalty as well. No? No one actually. As Christian gets past Jensen, who's slowly but surely dropping behind the rest of this pack on the older number of laps on those hards compared to the guys ahead. And to be honest here, I think Noam or Schumacher or Christian are really the favourites to win here now that they haven't got any penalties. So for the time being, I think we're just going to have to wait until towards the more ending side of the race, possibly here, to wait until those overtakes begin to come out. Still no safety car. These guys are beginning to get a little bit punched up though. I think someone will have to make an overtake here at some point this lap. So everyone's getting quite close. And you can see he's lifting. You can hear the throttle lifting off. There we go. Looks like Nico's going to try and make a move on the Haas, but just can't see it as that Haas, in my opinion, is being positioned pretty perfectly from the driver inside. Nice defensive manoeuvre, and it's difficult to overtake on that second DRS zone. Jensen retiring after picking up quite a few penalties, and that is McLaren. Oh, actually, it looks like it's a crash. I did not rate. Oh, he's crashed it. I did not see that. Jensen has, I assume, maybe hit. My opinion here, if we watch again, he's possibly just either lit the rears and gone into the wall and lost his swing, or he's hit this sausage curb here, and then the rears have gotten caught on the sausage curb. He's lit them up, and he's spun round, and he's hit that inside wall on the exit of turn 4. But we're going to have our safety car, and a lap ago I did say we haven't had a safety car yet, and here it is. Safety car on lap 19 of 29. I would say it's still too early really to see anyone going for those soft compound tyres for a sprint to the finish. Will anyone pit? That's the question. Will everyone just wait and stay on these hard compound tyres, or will anyone go if they've got a fresh set of mediums in their pocket? No one pitting here. Yanil is going to take the opportunity to serve their 10-second time penalty. They're pretty much forced to pit here, because if they don't, then that penalty is going to lead over to the end of the race. So this is the best scenario for them. Unfortunately, if it is going to be them losing 10 seconds. Noam has decided to pit for a fresh set of medium compound tyres. Let's see what Yanil's also going on to a fresh set of mediums as well. So Crowden also, I think that's his. He hasn't pit yet, so I think that's his first stop here. Is this his first? No, it's his second stop. Okay, so he must have just gone onto the mediums then. Earlier on, and decided to pit for the hards until the end of the race. But a lot of people towards the end of the grid have pitted, while Schumacher decides to stay out. So everyone's pitted except for Schumacher. Interesting. Interesting. Is this a? Why is there a safety car right after our tyre? It says Wards, unfortunately. Only one driver is not going to finish points this evening. And there's still hope for Simba. Carl said earlier on, there's still hope for Simba here because we have a safety car. So now that everyone's bunched up, those with penalties will be under a little bit more of a threat. But once the safety car clears, it will be about lap 22, 23 that we're restarting. And that'll be 6 or 7 laps to the end of the race. A sprint to the finish. So everyone except for Schumacher decides to pit this lap around. And interesting idea. I guess it's to not lose track position from Schumacher here, but either way around, you're still going to have a disadvantage. Thanks for smashing the pit board, guys. Hope and Lego friends. Okay. Interesting. Here we go then, safety car in this lap. I thought it would be another lap here, but we're going to wait for the safety car to enter the pit lane. I'm going to watch the second driver, as you get to see the view of the first driver when he sets off, and we get to see the reaction of the second driver. So this is usually a nice POV to see when that first car sets off. Schumacher to lead the rest of the 10 drivers behind him on 8-lap-old hards, compared to these 1-lap-old medium and hard compound tyres all behind him. This is either going to end all right for him or end disastrously, really. Let's see how those hards will be towards the end of the race. When is he going to go? Second to last corner here. He's still slowing down, heading through the final corner. Still hasn't lifted just yet. And he goes. You can see there, that's a very nice start from Schumacher. Nico was expecting a restart to be a bit earlier than that, and he went right up to the back of the Ferrari, lifted, and as soon as the kick-saber lifted, Schumacher shot away, and he's been able to save his position so far. We're going to dive down the inside from Noam into third position, as all the Mercedes hits the back of the kick-saber a little bit there, and I thought the Alpine there was going to take out the kick-saber, getting a bit too eager heading through turn 3 and into turn 4, and it looks like the Mercedes is still going to keep position off the Alpine car in third place, with the better line through turn 5, and through turn 6 you'd have to single throttle through there. As we continue racing, it's green flags once again towards the end of this race. A real mix of hard and medium compound tyres, so this should make things pretty interesting towards the end of the race. 3-second penalty for Flame for multiple warnings. I guess that was probably at turn 9 or 10. Actually, that's usually where you see most of the warnings, to be honest. Oh, typical with a great exit out of turn 12. Just can't find a gap to make any advantage out of it though through turns 13 and out of turn 14. He's still behind the Alpine. He got some pretty good pace out going through that corner though, lot quicker than the cars ahead. Nico still behind Schumacher. If he wants to try and pull as much of a gap away from the rest of the grid, he might need to get past as soon as possible, because he's got that 3-second time penalty. Making the most of it. Down the inside he goes. Is he going to go too deep though? Is Schumacher going to switcheroo? Yes, he does. He's still in though. He's still in a bit of a fight. Hitting the side of the Schumacher there. Oh. He went a bit too deep, Nico. Possibly slightly flat spotting the tyres. Not just a flat spotting. You can't really do that in the game, but you know, not really helping his tyre situation out too much. But there we go. Nico, 8 pit positions gained and up into first place. It was messy, but he did it. And he's up into first place. Now he's going to hope that Schumacher can hold off Noam as much as possible. That was some hard racing between the front two for first place, and that was quite enjoyable to watch. I would getting pretty chaotic, heading through turn 11 and 12. The McLaren wheel locking with the Ferrari, with the Red Bull. At least this is not F1 2024. At least this is not F1 24 contact model boxes, because otherwise all of these guys here would be in a spin. Looks like Noam has moved out the slipstream there to... I don't know. Oh, into the grass goes Bobberts at turn 1. And it's dropped a few places down towards 10th place. And you can see there, Nico with much more grip than Schumacher, and is pushed away a 1.3 second gap. And Noam will not be happy here. He's stuck behind the Ferrari. The Ferrari will want to be defending that position. Noam will want to be getting past as quickly as possible to not give Nico the advantage. Here we go then, he's got too much speed. Schumacher can do nothing about the Alpine. He cannot make that Ferrari any wider, and Noam is through and past Schumacher. Christian is the one next on the list behind Schumacher. Now, just needs to close down that 1.4 on Nico, who's pulled himself a nice gap. That's exactly what the kick-saber needed. He needed an opportunity to get a gap going, and he has got it going. Bobbert with a 3-second penalty. Let's look at the penalties now. 9 seconds for Bobbert, 3 seconds for Flame, 3 seconds for Langman and Yanil and Nico. Keep an eye on that gap at the front, folks, because that can close. 12 lap old hards now. Wait, he's on. Oh, Nico just picked up another 3-second time penalty. 6 seconds for him now. He shafted his race. Unlucky for him, but it's obviously if he's gone wide, it's his driver error. He was pushing anyway. You could tell he was pushing because he's trying to get that 3-second gap, but he's just pushed a bit too aggressively and has picked up a 3 seconds. So I think the win is out the window now. These guys getting extremely close going into this next DRS zone. Will we see a move? You can see the Mercedes trying to move to the inside and forcing the Ferrari to go into the middle to go defensive, trying to scare the Ferrari into going into a defensive manoeuvre to give the Mercedes the best possible line through turn 11, and that is Nico. Into the pit lane, he spun it around at turn 13 and 14, and he's retired from the session. Nico, who was in the lead, and even though he had 6 seconds of penalties, he could have picked up some points still, but now he's going to finish this race down in last place. His AI will finish it off. He's going to have to park on the side of the road. Nico is spun in first place, under pressure, and now Noam is next to lead. That is a massive consequence. That's huge for the end of this race here, because it's now anyone's race in the top 4. Anyone in the top 4, it's your race now, because these guys will say, yeah, I've got to get my foot down. No, I'm just going to be under a lot of pressure. And that has just made things twice as interesting in this race. Oh, look, you can see both of them were kind of phased to the middle just to try and scare their opponents, but nothing doing just there. You can see these guys are charging through second sector with their lights flashing, trying to get as much power in before you get into this double DRS zone. It's the best place to be charging the battery up. Both moving to the inside. That's a bit of an esports move you see down the DRS zone to try and stop the slipstream from being as effective. No overtakes through here either. So 3 laps remaining. 4 drivers in contention for the win, but only one will be crowned with 25 points and put on the top of that podium. It's going to be, it's 4 teams as well, 4 drivers, 4 teams, Alpine, Ferrari, Mercedes and Williams. I mean, you can't rule out Crowden as well, but he's still stuck behind Janil, who's got a 3 seconds. 14-lap-old hards for Schumacher now. He's still doing a great job though, to be honest, to still be in this fight and not be under too much pressure. He hasn't been making too many mistakes, so if he does get the win, congratulations, to be honest, because that is a pretty good feat. Two laps to go after we round turn 14. Things beginning to heat up. Simbarox, I think, has made a move past Langman, I believe. Everyone will finish with points either way, so even though I don't know why Nico retired, to be honest, because he could have possibly got points here. But I guess he didn't know that anyone below him had penalties, so... Oh, big dive down the inside for Christian. He's put a very, very aggressive manoeuvre on Schumacher, and Schumacher is going to slap him back and say, I need this position. You're not getting past, thank you very much. And the Williams as well, typical. Just completely shafted his race there, picking up a front end plate damage on the left side of his car, and that is going to compromise him through these very fast left-handers. So while all that fight was happening, Typical got a little bit distracted there, was looking at the fight in front of him and forgot to turn through turn 5. We've also got a manoeuvre for Christian, this time a little bit cleaner than in through turn 3, but that was aggressive shut down the inside of Schumacher, caught him napping a bit there, and this has really helped out Noam in first place. Noam now ahead out of DRS of Christian, or barely in DRS, Christian is, so this is really, really going to help now going into the final lap. Only 1 lap to go, and he's 9/10 behind. This could be an easy win for the Alpine if he keeps it consistent. All he needs to do is just get the car home. He's got half the battery left, so plenty for him to keep him ahead of the Mercedes, but with that extra slipstream, you never know. So Christian, after an aggressive manoeuvre through turn 3, here just a lap ago, he's now into 2nd place, and Schumacher down to 3rd. 5/10 gap. This is definitely overtakeable for Christian if he can get the best possible run out of turn 6 and 7. This is going to be like a quali lap on this final lap here. 4/10. Typical and Crowley pick up a penalties on the final lap. Typical, who was looking to pass Janil in the positions, will now stay in 5th place unless he gets past with DRS. He can't make it through heading in towards turn 9 and 10. Will he be able to make it through going in towards turn 11? He's using all the DRS he can. DRS enabled as well. To the outside. They're going to be side by side. Through into the final sector. He can't get his wheel around the outside of that Alpine and just cannot grasp 1st position. And that could be his final overtaking opportunity. Are we going to see a dive around the outside of turn 13? Bit of a switcheroo from the Mercedes. Will he get the better exit out of turn 14? Here we go then. Bit of a slip and slide out of the exit for the Mercedes, and it looks like Alpine will take the win here out of the slipstream. There we go. Very, very close racing in the final sector for 1st position, but it is going to be Gnome who takes the 25 points. Christian will take 2nd, and it will be Schumacher in 3rd position after a risky staying out strategy after the safety car. Well done to all of our drivers there. That was a pretty impressive feat from some of them. There was some aggressive overtaking. There was some smoother overtaking. You had the lot there. Safety car, virtual safety car. Crowden apparently picked up driver of the day there and fastest lap, but I don't think that's. I don't think they count that. Also picked up the most overtakes as well. Christian, the cleanest driver as well. It didn't seem like it going into turn 3, but he made amends at turn 9, just half a sector later. So, congratulations to Alpine picking up 25 points this evening. Started in 4th place and takes the win. No penalties for the top 3 as well, so congratulations to them. On the podium with Gnome. Noam is Christian in 2nd place. He started in 5th position as well, and Schumacher stays in 3rd place from where he started. Janil will drop down to 4th position after having to take a 10-second time penalty. Typical gets 5th position. Crowden gets 6th from 12th place. Simba Rocks gets 7th place, and there were only 10 drivers that finished, so they all got points. I don't know if you guys want the Instance Racing Director page on your stream, but I tend to do this for everyone so they can pick up the race director for drivers to clip. So if you guys want that, it's on the stream. You can check it out later on. Alright then, I hope everyone who has stuck around has enjoyed. Let me know if you enjoyed that race real quick. And you can rate it out of 5 or out of 10 to how much entertainment there was throughout that race. I believe Tier 1 is on now for PC, I think, on YouTube. So I think they go live at 8 o'clock just after this run finishes. So if you want to check out Tier 1, please go onto the YouTube page for WOR and it should be on there live, and quali will be go for Tier 1 PC. This, however, was Tier 2 console, the first round of Season 21, and Australian Grand Prix is done and dusted for these drivers on their consoles. Alright then. Okie dokie then. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream this evening, the race, and my commentary. And please do make sure to check out Tier 1. I think it's Tier 1 who's live right now on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next one.